Aloha. In today's video, I'm going to show you some alternative projects I created using the April 2021 So Cool Paper Pumpkin Kit. So let's get started. So first of all, this kit was really fun just as it is. It created these really cute popsicle shaped cards, as well as a rainbow card and a watermelon card. Just perfect for summer. So I at first wasn't going to do anything but just leave these projects just as is. But then at the very last minute, I decided to get into the kit and change things up a little bit. So that's what I'm going to show you today. So the first thing that I'm going to do is do some die cutting. So for our die cutting, we're going to be placing this popsicle card onto my large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then I'm going to be using one of these little dies from the Tasteful Label dies. Okay, so I placed my die right here on the popsicle. I wanted to place it where you could see a tiny bit of the yellow, some of the green, and some of the blue on the card. Then I'm going to place this over the top carefully, and then I'll run it through my machine. Okay, after it's gone through the machine, I'm going to just remove this piece, and then we have this scrap that we're going to save for the next card, and then we're going to go ahead and work with this card here. We're going to start by doing some stamping. So I have a piercing mat here that always adds a nice cushion when you're using photopolymer stamps. And then I'm going to stamp 2 of the tags from the Paper Pumpkin Kit. I'm going to ink up my stamp with Memento ink, and on one of the tags I'm going to stamp the words, "You are so cool." And then I'm going to ink up another stamp from the kit, and then I'm going to stamp the words, "Happy Birthday." So I'm going to take the words that say "Happy Birthday" using my paper snips, and I'm going to just cut off the flagged portion. Okay, so my stamping is done, and now we're ready to do some assembly. So all I'm going to do is take my multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm going to put some glue on this piece that was punched out of the kit. And then I'm going to line this up behind the hole, and then I'm going to place it and glue it right on the inside of the card. Now we're ready to add our sentiment, so I'm going to be using dimensionals. So I'm going to place a dimensional on each side of this open circle. And then I'm going to take the "You are so cool," and I'm just going to glue that right in the center of that open part. Okay? Now I'm calling this a hidden message card, because then when you open up the card, I'm going to place a dimensional here and here, take that off. And then because we've taken off the flagged portion, this should be able to fit right in there, and you line it up with the tag that's on the front, and now you have a hidden message on the inside of the card. So here's the card, "You are so cool," and "Happy Birthday." All right, so this card is done, and it's super simple, but the main reason why I created this card this way is actually because I wanted this piece here, because I had something in mind that was really fun for this particular piece, and that's what I'm going to show you next. First thing I'm going to do is use this little dotted stamp that was in the Paper Pumpkin Kit, and I'm going to just create a stamped background using the crushed curry ink right on top of the crushed curry cardstock. All right, so once you've created just a random pattern all the way around, then I'm going to go ahead and add another layer. So I have this piece here, which is actually cut out of one of the envelopes. So you can see that this envelope is lined with this really pretty paper. And so using an envelope liner to alter your Paper Pumpkin kits is a really popular thing to do. So I just opened up an envelope, and then I used this piece here. So this is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. I'm going to flip this around, add some adhesive to the back. And then I'm going to mount this to basic white cardstock. So this is 2 1/2 by 4 basic white. Okay, then I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back. Okay, then I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to mount this onto the front of my card. Next, we're going to do some stamping. So I have a 1 1/4 by 3 1/2 piece of Coastal Cabana. I'll be using a Memento ink pad, and then I want to stamp the words, "You are so cool." Then I'm going to use the banner Pick-a-Punch. I'm going to flip it upside down. I'm going to take this stamped piece and I'm going to slide it into the punch. And then when you see it at the end right there, I'm going to just take a little notch out of that side, and then I'll do the same thing on the opposite side. And then we have our little fun banner for our card. All right, so I added in the stitched triangle dies, and I took this small triangle, placed it on a piece of basic white cardstock, and I ran this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and the end result was this. Can any of you see where we're going with this? All right, the next thing that I'm going to do is take this little stitch triangle and I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals on the back. And then I'm going to place this right here at the bottom of the card. For the next step, I'm going to take this piece that we die cut out of the original card, and I want to turn it so that you see some of the yellow on the left side. I'm going to place it on the mat, and I'm going to use an X-Acto blade, and I'm just going to slice a little tiny hole in it, just like that. Then I have a small cocktail straw. I'm going to take it and I'm going to use my fingernails and I'm just going to try to flatten it out a little bit. Okay. And then I'm also going to trim it in half. Then I'm going to take this little straw after I flattened it out and I'm going to place it in the hole. Okay. And then on the back here, you can put a piece of tape if you want. I'm going to just pick up a mini glue dot and then place a glue dot underneath the straw. And that'll hold it nice and tight. Okay, so do you see where I'm going with this card? So this is going to slide into our little triangle just like that. So I want to put my dimensionals behind here. Slide that in there like so. Okay, and then I'll take and place a couple of dimensionals on the back of this. And that'll go across the front. Okay, so this is done. So then this was made for a basic white note card. So I'm going to just flip this over, add my adhesive to the back. Turn this around and glue it down. All right, so my little shave ice card is done. So let me just show you again. You have my hidden message card here. And then when you remove this piece here, there's no waste because we take that piece out and we use that on the shave ice card. Well, before I go, do you want to see a couple of other projects that I made? All right, so for these next samples, I'm going to show you the first ones that I made just with the stamp set from the kit. So this first one is here. It just uses the popsicle and the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And I just embossed some cardstock in the back and did this for a fun 4th of July card. So this card here was the final card that I created using the Cute Fruit stamp set. That little smiley face is just retired and it's one I'm certainly going to miss. But I definitely wanted to use it on this card because I thought that popsicle looked adorable with a little smiley face. Now, this one's kind of really out of the box, but remember where I live, and I have a lot of friends who dance hula who I think are really cool. So I did a little hula pop card. I thought this was kind of fun, and again, it gave me an opportunity to use that cute fruit stamp one more time before it retired. All right, finally with the popsicle, I also did this one where I just took a little punch and took a little bite out of the popsicle, and then I just did this Sure Do Miss You card. For the final two projects I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to show you a little quick demo, but let me show you what they are first. So I have this card here, and it's very plain on the front, but it's meant to look like watermelon, and then this is that same stamp that I used on the Shave Ice card that comes in the kit, and the same piece that I put on the inside of the popsicle card. There's another sentiment that's in the kit. But I made a pop-up card, but this is actually where you can insert a gift card right in here. There's a pocket right here, okay? So I'm sure you probably know how to make this simple pop-up card, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I did that. So I'm gonna show you with some scrap cardstock that I had around my studio. So I have this piece here, which is 5.5 by 8.5 folded in half. And then with the second piece, I just trimmed like 1/8 of an inch around, so it would be just slightly smaller. So when you sandwich them together, they're just a slight edge and not exactly the same. So the way that you make the pop-up is you take the inside piece and then you take whatever image you want to pop up and you just place it on the card. So I'm gonna place that right there like that. And then I'm gonna take my paper snips and I'm gonna create 2 even cuts right underneath whatever you want to pop up, okay? And then you just fold this up and you fold it back and then you open up the card and you press that forward, okay? And then you just glue this in like that and then you glue this onto that little step, okay? And then the way that I did the, made this into a gift card holder was I simply opened this up and I just placed a little bit of glue all the way around these sides, but I left the top open. So for this card here, I used the sticker that was a rainbow, but I flipped it upside down and then I stamped "You Are So Cool," but then I cut off the word "you" because I have the "you" from this image here. I added the "Hey Girlfriend." I've been doing a lot with her and I just definitely wanted to put her on the front of this card. And then you'll see the envelope in the background here. But what I did with the envelope is really kind of cool. I just took the envelope, let me get one here, and I cut the envelope at the sides, on both sides, and then I just cut off the sticky part of the envelope. And then what happens is I just placed it on the card and wrapped it around. So you can see the envelope wraps around to the inside, and then inside here we have the pop-up rainbow. Now, you might be wondering, well, how did I do this? Because this card was actually attached here at the bottom. So if you look closely, you can see that I just took scissors and I just carefully cut that off. So now you have a pocket here on this card. So now you have your rainbow in the right direction, and then you just open up this little piece right here because we've glued the sides and the bottom, and then we're gonna slide a gift card in there like that, and then you have a nice way to say happy birthday, okay? Hey, I just want to say thanks so much for stopping by and watching my video today. I hope that you'll come back and stamp with me again soon. Until then, aloha.